You know, I have to admit I'm totally mystified by the subject matter that was chosen for tonight's debate, wine. I don't even think there was anybody, maybe Skip Stovall, but nobody else when I was on this campus that could have even spelled wine. I mean, really, I don't think, Don, that Jack Daniels comes from grapes at this point. And despite, I don't think that Pabst Blue Ribbon is made from wineries either at this point. So this focus on wine to me is not part of the legacy. The legacy of this university at this point is a story that I talked about just a little bit earlier tonight, when the one trip that I got to take with Dr. Spicer my freshman year, because he was kind of an administrator type by that point, we went to the beautiful town of Lawrence, Kansas, which has a nice campus, but let me tell you, for hotels in the 70s, Lawrence, Kansas might have been one of the worst places you could be in. We stayed in the lovely Pitcairn Hotel there, the 69er, as it was known. And it really is the name of it, by the way, or was. So Spike explained to us that, you know, rules are university, you gotta go with them. Can't have beer in the car, stuff like that. So we said, okay. So we took the car, and back then, we drove the cars a lot, didn't we? And we went to the liquor store, and we picked up our beer for the night. They were out of wine. The shipment of Thunderbird hadn't come in that day. So we then started to drive back, and we had to do what Spike told us. He was, after all, you know, the god of debate. So we did not put the beer in the car. We held it outside the car, all the way back to the hotel, and we walked in and let him know that we had, in fact, not, of course, violated the law. Now, we were going to drink, but we hadn't violated the law. But I'm just totally mystified by this obsession with wine, because, you know, Don Stanton did not introduce me to wine. He did take us to the Kahiki in Columbus, Ohio, and introduced us to the mystery drink, which was a drink about this big that had flames in the middle of it. That was supposed to be ordered for 4 people, except we each got one for ourselves. I don't recall there being any wine in the mystery drink. We were at Schmidt's Sausage House in Germantown in Columbus, and there's beer going on for acres after. I don't recall the wine list being passed on. I just must have missed part of this. Skip, did I miss a big wine party during that time or something? Skip was trying to create every Caribbean cocktail that could ever. He still is to this day. I think he knows every kind of rum that's ever been created on this earth. But where is the wine at this point? So, if this university is to prove anything, wine is not the root of all evil. Every other alcoholic concoction you can bring is. But it is not part of the legacy of this university. So if wine is the root of all evil, we are all innocents. That's my point. Well, I want to say one word real quick before somebody else. Tom Black's name is up here, as it deserves to be, for the NDT semifinals in 1973, which was a pretty amazing run in those days. And I believe you won district that year too, Tom, to qualify to get there, as I recall. But I want to talk a little bit about somebody who's not here, who was Tom's partner that year, John Jackson, who has an amazing legacy. We're talking about legacies here. John Jackson qualified for the National Debate Tournament 3 years in a row with 3 different partners. Won district 3 years in a row with 3 different partners, and made it to the eliminations of NDT 3 years in a row with 3 different partners. I was the last of those 3 partners, but still, if you want to talk about legacy, that has to be a legacy that stands. Not many people have climbed that high and done it so innovatively, with different speaker positions, with different people at that point, in different circumstances. And that's part of the legacy. I'm sorry John's not here with us anymore, but he just needs to not be forgotten at this point, and that's kind of what tonight's about. So here's to John.